Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
Jason Levine.
Today we're taking a look at a game that just recently was released. This was originally out on Kickstarter from Lamplight Games. This is Nautilus Industries, which I still think it's kind of weird that the game is Nautilus and it's about submarines and they actually don't show a submarine on the cover. Well, maybe that's one there. But still, it's an odd cover. This does not make me want to buy the game.
Well, it's not so odd. It's got a little, whatever, compass looking
Yes, but if I saw this on the shelf, I would not be like, oh, that looks fun. And even the back, which shows a lot of stuff in the game, just looks like this super heavy economic game. Now, to be fair, it is an economic game. It's a stock market game. There's a lot of stock market games out there. Some of them are complex. Some of them are simple. Some of them are nice. Some of them are mean. Which one is this? We'll find out.
Now in this game you're going to be manipulating 5 different stocks: orange, yellow, black, blue, and green. Each of those actually stands for something. The blue stocks is apparently jewelry, and we got energy, and there are shares of stock for each one. There's a cost for the shares. You can see 1 share of the blue stock is 4, 2 shares is 8, 3 shares is 13, and it goes all the way up to 6 shares costing 30. And there's only 1 of each, and so players can buy these. There's also going to be boards over here. This is where players are going to be hunting down jewels for the different areas in the game. There's going to be 1 board for each player. Players will have a board with their 3 submarines. The game actually comes with these submarine pieces, so I'm guessing that these wooden ones are upgrades. And like I said, over here you're going to keep track. This is the current selling price of each of the shares, and over here is the value of stocks at the end of the game. Let's say the yellow one is here on the 7, and then I have maybe 4, so that this would be worth 28. If I had the 4 and the 6 and 10, then that would be worth 70 at the end of the game. Money is also worth points at the end of the game, and the box has a very nice way to store the money. The hundreds are tiles, but the rest of this is all nice coinage there. Now players can be taking turns, and so on a turn you have different actions that you can do. One of the actions is you can take one of your subs and put it out somewhere. You're going to be trying to get the gems that are in that area. When you put out a sub, you can pay an extra $5 to kind of send out extra stuff for that sub, and when you do that, you'll go through the bag here of gems and find the one color you want. So maybe I also want a yellow one, so I'll put that on the sub also. You can also use an action to switch, put one of these on one board and put another one on the other board. Each of these boards at the beginning of the game is going to have a number on it. These numbers are going to show you what order the boards are going to be resolved in. So another action is you can take 2 of the board's numbers and switch them. You then lock those numbers. They can only be switched once per round. And then the last action that you can do is you can purchase stock. So if you have the money, you can buy different stocks. Oh, I'm sorry, you have one more action, and that's upgrade your warehouse capacity. Each player starts with a warehouse capacity of 1, and you can keep making this go up to a maximum of 6. Now, after players are done, each player gets 3 different actions that they will take in turn order, 1 at a time. Then you're going to resolve each board. On each board, you will always start with the gold, wherever the gold is, and resolve that first. So if someone has a sub there, that person will take 2, up to 2 of that type, and they're going to keep those. And you'll go around the board in clockwise, starting from wherever the gold is. If you put a sub piece that has, for example, this one has a gold on, I would get 2 of the iron, and if there was a gold here, I would get that also. Unfortunately, someone else moved that gold, but had the gold been there, I would have got a gold also. So you can see that moving them around can mess things up, and the order that they're taken matters, because let's say, for example, there was 2 black here and 2 gold here, and purple's a submarine here. So on my turn, we always start with gold, so the purple takes the gold. When it comes to me, that gold is not there for me to take. If it was the other way around and this one here had a black on it, then they would get these 2 gold and they would get one of the black gems, and then when it came around to blue, he would only get 1. So after everyone has taken everything off that board, you're going to do all the boards one at a time. You're also then going to, each player in turn order can sell stock. You can sell stock for the current cost that's at the top here. So let's say I have 2 blues. I could sell both those blues for $12. So everyone gets a chance to sell. Once everyone's done selling, any stock that was sold is going to go down once. Let's say 3 total blues were sold, so the blue would go down 3. Let's say that was the only thing that sold. Then each stock that wasn't sold will go up once. So since in this game, it's a 4-player game with 4 boards, if a stock was not sold at all, it's going to go up 4 times. Each time stocks are sold, each time that these gems are sold also, you count the total number of gems. So let's say 5 gems are sold, then you would move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once it hits the yellow, you'll subtract 1. So if only 1 gem is sold, this doesn't move. But let's say 5 gems are sold, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4. And once it's up in this area here, you'll subtract 2. And remember, you're going to do this after each board. After the 4th board is finished, you are going to turn these back over. You're going to randomly draw 5 gems and add them to any gems that might be left on the board. The turn order goes to the next player. And then you just keep going. You're going to continue on until one of the stocks reaches the times 10. When this happens, everyone is going to currently sell their shares, their stocks, for whatever the current value is here, and they're going to add that to any money they collected throughout the game, and whoever has the most money is the winner.
Now, one of the things that I want to say, first of all, is what kind of game this is. This is a stock market game. It is not that complex rules-wise. In fact, it's pretty simple.
Yes.
Get gems, sell gems, move gems, things. And it's also not very nice. This is a pretty mean game. Not so much that you're directly affecting other players, although you can steal gems from them. But as the game progresses, that happens less and less because there's just gems everywhere.
Yeah.
But manipulating the stock market deliberately to hurt other players definitely can happen in this game.
Yes. And it's very interesting. The balance is, you want your gem stock to go up, but in order to do that, you have to sell it, which lowers the price. So there's this ebb and flow where the price goes up, you sell a bunch, which sends the stock up, and then the price is low and you're not going to sell for a while, and then the price goes back up, and then you do the same thing again and again. And it was an interesting balance of where the stock levels were when they were sold each time.
I don't know that this is maybe in the last year, this may be the game in which I played where turn order mattered almost more than any other game I've ever seen. Turn order is so critical in this game.
Yes.
Going first allows you a chance to buy stocks before other people, right? So that's typical. But going last can let you change the order that the boards happen, which is a big, big deal. It can let you change where gems are. It can let you change, put a submarine on after other people. And when it comes to selling stuff, if someone else doesn't sell their stuff, then you can sell yours and you instantly devalue theirs.
Yes.
So let's say Jason and I both have 3 green, and we're like, we could sell 6 green and make a lot of money. I'm like, let's hold out and let it be worth some more. He's like, all right. So I hold off on mine, and then he sells it on his turn. He gets the money, it goes down, and I have to either wait or dump them for a cheaper price on the next turn.
Yep. Like I said, the ebb and flow. This felt like a really good stock market game. The collection of the materials, and what was also interesting is at the beginning, we were all just collecting the materials that were worth the most money in the stock market phase. But then later in the game, we were much more strategic, and you end up mining for the things that you have shares in because you want to mine those and make them more valuable. So you don't care so much about the price later in the game. You want to make sure that you're mining your stuff to get your stuff up in stock value.
Well, you can, though. You could spend no actions or hardly any actions on anything other than getting and selling. And you could hoard a big amount of money and hope that that's enough to beat other people's shares at the end of the game. I think that's a viable strategy, or maybe even just get a few shares and then just really try to buy and sell. Because it is possible over the course of a game that only one company's shares go up very quick, and that's possible. And you could even manipulate that, like deliberately try to make ones go up, which will get whoever has those shares money, but devalues all the other shares, and your money itself is worth more.
Yeah.
There is one problem I have with the game, and that is the turn order thing I mentioned, and that is the very first round of the game. I really feel, as the game goes by, turn order is still very important, but going first isn't as horrible because you can buy stock before other people.
Yes.
Which happens occasionally, right? I buy something, Jay's be like, I was going to buy that. Okay? But going last is also good for the reasons we mentioned. On the very first turn, though, there is no advantage to going first. On the very first round of the game, going first is a huge disadvantage because you really could get messed over by the last people.
Well, it depends.
No, what do you mean depends? Let's say I go to a spot where there's 2 crystals. On the last turn, you could move one of those away to you.
Yes.
And you would get 2, and I would get 1. Definitely an advantage for you, and I just have to suck it up. There's no way to counter that.
Yes, that's true. But if you're going to do that, then you should either move something there earlier. You could do a move also. There's options. I mean, in our game that we played, one of the colors only had 1 gem, and it was the blue gem. And someone put it on the blue board, and since I was the last player, what I did is I went to a different blue board, and then my very last move, I swapped the blue gem and something else, so I was the only one to get a blue gem.
Yeah, that's rookie mistake stuff. I understand that, but I'm still not. I still think the first player should get a little bit extra money, maybe to just offset going first in the first round. It's not a big deal, but I think it matters enough that it bears mentioning.
But you also get your choice. I mean, you could. I think.
Well, what do you mean you get a choice? You mean you can go somewhere that someone else can't go?
Well, not that. You can go and say, okay, I'm going to go here because this one is 3. Or there's a lot of things you could do on the first turn.
But that also depends on the gems that come out. It's very, very possible that there is no 3 gems on the first turn.
But you could go for a 2.
But that still can be... Anyhow, I just think that I would think about that first turn. Other than that, though, I think it balances out as the game goes by.
Yes.
Because first can buy stocks. It's just because you start with no money, or at least I don't see it. You start with any money. If you start with money,
then we're wrong.
Then I completely take that back. I couldn't find it in the rulebook at all. But if you start with money, then fine. That means you can buy a stock in the very first turn, which is an advantage.
Yes.
So either way, though, despite that small niggling thing I have with that, I think the game is really well done.
Yes.
Component-wise, the submarines look like pagodas, and the big cubes they give you don't fit on the board.
But those were Kickstarter cubes, weren't they?
Yeah, but I think they were added to all the games. Either way.
The gems are good.
The gems are good. Well,
the gems are
used in every game.
Yeah, they're the Ascension style gems, but they look really nice.
But the boards look good. The turn order on the board itself, the paying the extra money to get a 3rd gem, the manipulation of the stock market, the fact that there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of each. It's a very tight stock market game. I'm normally not a huge fan of those, but I really like this one. My awesomeness rating for this one would be probably a 7.5. I was pretty enamored with it. I think it's mean and tight, but I'll never play it with more than 4. Are you kidding me? 6 players? Are you kidding me? This should... Boo, you shouldn't even put 6 in the box. That's way too long of a game for 6. All right, anyway, what about you?
I feel the same thing. I felt it was one of the better stock market games I've played, and I put it up there in one of my top stock market games, and I'm going to give it an awesomeness rating of 8.
Woo! All right. Well, that is Nautilus Industries. Check it out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.